Hello and welcome to the latest video. We'll just give it a few seconds for the stream to settle down and we shall be hopefully on the way. Let's get the last few checks done. Right, so, and hello and welcome to the latest Crafty Simulations video. It's a live video. I love live videos so much. Right, just check that. Hey, track IO's working, good. Right, so once again, hello and welcome. This one's going to be a little bit different. I normally like to do, I don't do too many live videos due to restrictions of work and whatnot, but I thought to myself, I'm going to do a live video with a bit of a twist. If you haven't realised what this channel is about, it's about general aviation aircraft in flight simulations. So that's what we mostly cater for. Yes, you will see warbirds every now and again, specifically those Spitfires sat over there on my left wing. But also, I do like to cover a few reviews and flights in warbirds, but mostly it's about general aviation. Now, in my humble opinion, the greatest general aviation aircraft here on the sim is the Cowes D842. I absolutely adore this thing since day one, and it's been fantastic, and I love it, and it's the aircraft I want to go to and just relax with a nice flight. It's a twin star. So, what I've been doing is creating a few videos that have been pre-recorded, as well as live videos of me flying the DA42 Twin Star here from various airfields to airfields. And I've been mostly covering Burning Blue Designs airfields. And that's where this video came in. I actually came up with this idea a few days ago. Now, Burning Blue Designs have just released, as of a few days ago, their latest airfield, and it's Old Buckenham, which is in Norfolk, I do believe. Available for Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024. We will go into details, obviously, during the flight. Now, what I would normally do is install said scenery and go for a flight. Like I say, pre-recorded, live video, whichever one it's going to be. I've installed it, but I haven't seen it. I haven't loaded the sim at the airfield at Old Buckenham. Currently, we're sitting at Burning Blue Designs Goodwood scenery. And like I said, I have not seen anything of Old Buckenham. I don't know the runways. I don't know diddly squat about Old Buckenham, really, if I'm honest. So I am going to take a flight in a DA42, and we're going to go for a little trip up to Old Buckenham. So I've got my handy VFR guide booklet here. It's like the Holy Bible for general aviation. And I've got it set on 2 pages, which is one is Chichester / Goodwood, which is where we are now, and the next one is for Old Buckenham. So I do know, for instance, we are going to be hoping to land on runway 25, and that is 798 metres long. We're taking off from here, from Goodwood, runway 32 at 1,262 metres. So there's a bit of a difference in the runways. I think the DA42 can land at less than 800 metres. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of a plan. Conditions are good. Wind isn't that bad. So we should be fine, he says. What could possibly go wrong? So, yes. I am just going to set that up just like that. So I've got myself a coffee. Flight Simulator is actually behaving. Live video is going out. Track IR is behaving. That's usually my bane of my life. But anyway, so yes, if you want to join in and chat away. Once I get airborne and autopilot set and all the rest of it, I'll quite happily talk everything that you want to talk about. We will talk about various things on Burning Blue Designs, various things about the DA42, about flight simulation in general. So, yes, let's get this show on the road, shall we? So, let's get this all set up. how I normally want it. Sort of. That sort of work. Doesn't quite look centralised. Right, so like I say, we are currently sat at Goodwood. We are... Where are we parked? Well, I know we're parked. We're parked next to a pair of Spitfires. We are parked, according to my little map here, next to the Aero Club. I think the Aero Club's on the other side of these Spitfires here. We do have various warbirds sat here. We ain't got far to go for a taxi, so we'll be taxiing out to the left onto the grass. It will be a grass runway departure. Like I said, runway 32. I love grass runways because they're a pain in the butt to go and find when you're flying. So right, let's go get this thing started. I haven't flown it in a while, if I'm honest. So, battery, thank you, that's come on. Position lights can now come on. Let's get that set. Fuel systems are on, throttles are closed, parking brake is on, defrost not needed, cabin temperature is set to cold, I do believe that is. Right, like I say, it has been a while since I've flown the DA-42. Let's check that everything works. With my controls, it's a bit of time to find out they don't work, and no, we're all good. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting flight. So let's shut the canopy. Right, so we have battery on. Battery is on. Fuel pumps are now coming on left and right. We have positional lights are on. Fuses are all in. This is not a correct way to start up a DA-42. Don't you worry about that. Right, navigation, it will be coming on in a second. So we're clear on the left, clear on the right. In fact, we're clear. Bit of clipping going on there. And clear on the left, yeah. Don't know whether you want to really start an aircraft up this close to people, but I would like it. I'm an aviation person. Let's set this to about 0. Right. So we'll have a clear left. Want the left glow plug sign to go out. That's out.
Pause system test. Okay.
And we have a good start. Shut that up, make the aircraft a bit quieter. AV's coming on. The fuel pump is now off. There on the right. Right, glow plug sign is off. Get it up to about 1,000 RPM, that'll leave the engines to warm up. We need the oil temperature to come up. Most importantly, we need gearbox temperature to come up, which is the middle one here, before we do anything. Flight plan. Flight plan catalogue. That one. Need to click activate. This is our flight plan I've already saved. Hopefully, I have created. I've done this through SimBrief. We are in the south coast at the moment. now it's just a case of really just letting the aircraft warm up. So controls are all ready to go. Obviously not the correct way of starting a DA-42, but good enough for our purposes. Let's hope we get this all set up. So, go back to engine mode. So, oil temperature still in the yellow, gearbox temperature still in the yellow, coolant is still a bit low. So, we'll set the autopilot while we're here. So, set our initial for 4,000. Cruising altitude today will be about 6,000, I think, depending on the cloud cover. We are flying VFR, so we want to be flying with visual flight rules. So, as I said at the start of this video, I have not seen what old Buckenham looks like. I know it's going to look fantastic, because let's face it, it's Burning Blue Designs, but yeah, I have not seen it. I know it's installed, I know it's running correctly, it's followed the same process I normally use to install my scenery. So, everything should be a-okay, he says, so full of confidence. Right, so oil temperatures now are climbing up. Gearbox temperature, which is the most important one, they are now in the white, which is fine. So we will be taking off, the oil temperature will be a lot higher. We'll be doing a run up at the end of the runway. So taxi lights can now come on, so this is the time to run through everything. So lighting is taxi lights and positional lights, strobe lights will come on at the runway. Horizon is done, altitude is done. Fuses are all in, correct, flaps are still up, fuel pumps are off, both fuel pumps are off, engine settings are correct, gear is locked down and indicating 3 green, fuel selectors are on correct, put that up a little bit, not that it makes much of a difference, so let's go off the brake and let's go. Couple of three Spitfires even, from the Spitfire Fighter Fund. Obviously these aircraft are based here at Goodwood. We do have a racetrack currently round us as well. So usually what I like to do is I do these videos, I fly to an airfield. Most of them are Burning Blue Designs airfields, and I will do some featured content at these airfields. So I have done a tour video of Goodwood. There's the Aero Club. Position ourselves here. We are at the run-up area for runway 32. Parking brake is selected, so we'll just check the engines, the temperatures. Now oil temperatures now come up and into the green. RPM's good, load is good, oil pressure is good. Coolant temperatures in the green. Gearbox temperature, most important, is in the green, and we are carrying de-icing fluid. Not that that's required. So fuel pumps can now come on. Now, if you haven't seen the DA42's little trick, most aircraft propeller driven need to have a run-up to test that all the systems are running at a higher engine power setting. So normally you'd sit at about 2000 RPM and basically run through your magnetos and all that kind of thing. Well, the DA42 does not have magnetos. It is a very much 21st century aircraft. So what we have here is the ECUs. Now we have 2 individual ECUs per engine, an ECU A and an ECU B, and like I said, that has 2 ECUs and this has 2 ECUs. Now in the real aircraft you would press the ECU test buttons together, and obviously we can't do that because it's a flight simulator. So what we have is the hidden button here. So parking brake has just been set and confirmed. Now I press this and the aircraft will set itself. It will run through its own set of diagnostics. So we need to be doing this with the engine temperature gearbox in the green. We wouldn't want to do this before. So let's go with that. And we'll run that through a second time. That's complete. So you may have noticed there was a little bit of a wobble left to right on the aircraft. I do believe that was part of one of the updates, one of the later updates. This aircraft is very realistic. Right, so taxi lights can now come off. Strobe lights are on, landing lights are now on, fuel pumps are on and confirmed. Flaps are down to 1 stage, they are unconfirmed on both sides. Pitot heat is now coming on. There will be a warning that comes back for that. That's fine. Transponder, we should be squawking. We're squawking 7,000. And we'll squawk on altitude as well. So engine are set. Fuel pumps, fuel system is set. That can come off. We're set with our navigation, so it will be a right-hand turn after takeoff. So we are clear down the runway and clear on approach. Not talking to air traffic. Let's make checks for my controls. So, yeah, let's get going. This is a 1 hour 15 block, I do believe, according to SimBrief. Let's see how much we can do that. So, parking brake is off, sitting on the wheel brakes, run it up. Let's go. Speed's alive. There's 60. There's 70. 80 knots. Pull up. Tap the brakes. Gears coming up. Flaps are now coming up. So we do have some obstacles in front of us in the fact of the hills, but we are now climbed higher than them, so that's not an issue. Passing through 1,000 feet. Autopilot's now coming on. Vertical speed is coming on and is set for holding on heading hold. So now we can take off. Landing lights are coming off. So it's very much a good weather day. So we'll start now intersecting with our magenta line. So we'll start that actually at 4,000 feet. Like I say, our cruising altitude will be about 6,000 for today, depending on cloud cover. So altitude has intersected with about 4,000, so we're coming down at the top, throttling back a bit. Set for our next altitude increase, which will be for 6,000 feet. Going on to nav hold. I'll start our increase. So we're steadily climbing up for 6,000 feet. And we're on our way to old Buckenham. So we're 6,000 feet coming up. So this is the wonderful thing about the DA-42. It is a lovely aircraft to fly. I think cows have updated this aircraft so many times. It has gone a little bit quieter with the release of the DA-40, I want to say, the single engine variant. But cows are fantastic company. So today's route, we will be routed, I think, east of London. Obviously this is not a realistic how to fly this aircraft or how to navigate. And there is no air traffic or multiplayer. You can turn the fuel pumps off, actually. Set the tanks to cross feed. And this is what I just like to do normally on a flight simulator. You get the autopilot just set. Just sit back and let the airplane fly itself. This is what the DA-42 in reality is actually really, really good at. It is a cruising, long-distance aircraft. So I think we're starting to get into the London area. It's not an area I'm really famed for my knowledge. I think if I'm reading my map correctly, which obviously is upside down at the moment, we are over London. I would say, obviously that would be Heathrow or Gatwick. I never get which one's above the river and which one's below the river. So currently flying over the Thames. Welcome to London. Obviously in reality this would be a lot more difficult. You know, you wouldn't be flying anywhere near Heathrow or Gatwick's airspace. Extremely busy airfields, airports even. For those that are wondering why I rate COW's DA-42 as being the best general aviation aircraft, I mean, they're very good other aircraft out there. They're just flight aircraft, Coronado aircraft. I know they get a lot of slag from the flight sim community. They're not the most realistic, but I think, you know, they are priced differently, and they are priced, I think, very good for what they give. We have reviewed a lot of Coronado aircraft here on the channel. There is another review in the works. It won't be out this week, for another Coronado aircraft for the first time on the channel. And I like them. I get good performance out of them. I acknowledge that they are not the most accurate rendition of whatever aircraft they're going after. I wholeheartedly agree that. I'm not going to tell you that it's, you know, the most realistic thing out there. It's not on the level of this. I mean, this aircraft has accurate fuse panels. Coronado does not have that. But then the price point is a lot lower as well, so there's that as well to think about. But I've always found when I jumped into the DA-42 for the first time, I was blown away with just how, thank you Flight Simulator, just have a little pause. I love it when it does that. Yeah, the DA-42, when I took it out for the first flight, and I was like, this is actually really, really well done. Even in version 1, it was an excellent aircraft. It sounds accurate, it handles what I would believe to be realistic, and it is a futuristic looking aircraft. Yes, we still have buttons, we still have, you know, various levers and whatnot, but we have a twin G1000 navigation and pilot display screen set up. And that's where aircraft nowadays are going to. You know, the likes of Cessna, who had, you know, the GNS 530, I think it is, which I don't particularly like. The old Bendix and King radio stack. We've seen those in flight simulators for donkey's years. And now they're steadily going over to G1000 and other equivalent touch screens and digital screens. And I think it's just a lot, it's different, and it's better. I've never had a bad experience with this aircraft. It's taught me a lot of things, as well as the new aircraft that COW's released. Of course, with the DA-42 being a twin-engine aircraft, you do have more controls, and it goes faster, it goes higher, it goes further. But the DA-40 is a very basic aircraft as well, and if you do get on with the 42, I would wholly recommend the DA-40. So for those of you that want to know a little bit more about Burning Blue Designs, they do create a myriad of general aviation airfields, ranging from extremely basic airfields, you know, a runway and one building sort of effect, all the way up to some very detailed bigger airfields. I think the biggest one they do is Farnborough, and the latest one they've released is where we're flying to, which is Old Buckenham, which is in Norfolk. And we have covered a lot of their sceneries on this channel, and I've been generally blown away by the quality that they do. So Old Buckenham is currently available for £10.95 in the UK, which I think is a staggering price for the, well, not a staggering price, a staggeringly good price for what you will get, and hopefully what we will see when we get to the airfield. I'm not sure why SimBrief does this. I don't know what algorithm it uses to come up with a flight plan, but instead of making a direct running, well, not a direct, but we could have made a straight across route straight over towards our destination airfield, but for some reason it's sending us out to the coast, so we will get a bit of a sight of the English coast before running up north into our destination of Old Buckenham. And like I said, I do have a VFR guidebook with me, which is for real aviation, and it actually lists all the runways and distances and all the good stuff that I'm going to need. I'm just looking at the various bits of information we have for the airfield. This is obviously real. We don't have to pay much attention to this in a flight sim. But all circuits are done at 1,000 foot AGL. And for the desired runway we need, which is runway 25, it's a right-hand circuit. We can do an overhead join going into our right-hand circuit. We also have electric aircraft charging available, which is obviously not required for this aircraft, but that is something that is mentioned by Burning Blue Designs, because I can remember correctly where it was. It does say that Old Buckenham is, as well as being I think it has 2 museums dedicated to the 453rd Bombardment Wing. And we also have the museum also features the 8th Air Force Heritage Gallery. So this is from reality. Old Buckenham is at the forefront of sustainable aviation in the UK, and it hosts the country's first electric aircraft charging point, powered entirely by solar energy. So that's the way the future's going. Obviously, like I say, we don't need that, but it is good that they put that in. This will be the first time I've seen Old Buckenham. Like I said, I've installed it the same way I've installed every other scenery, so one assumes that the simulator is running it. It showed it on the map as being a new piece of scenery, but I haven't seen it in sim. I was thinking in the future of doing a sightseeing video, multi-part sightseeing video of all the Burning Blue designs, even airfields and airports. Most likely flying the DA-42 because it's fantastic and I do love it. There is a few airfields this aircraft would not be able to get into, like they have done scenery up in Scotland, Papa Westway and Westway airfields. They're way too small for this aircraft to get in and out of, but you can fly over them. So I don't know, I might do that. Might be in the future. Obviously the guys at Burning Blue Designs are creating airfields. They don't have a schedule to it, but they do create quite a few airfields over the weeks and months. And a lot of work goes into the creation of these airfields. It's not just a case of using objects that already exist in Flight Simulator and just plonking them on the scenery and saying that's an airfield. They do go to these airfields. They take a lot of photos, a lot of time, a lot of effort goes into the design of all their sceneries. drink of coffee there. Obviously no snacks on this aircraft. No Scooby snacks. Currently I'm flying this aircraft with, well, the autopilot's flying this aircraft I should say, but my equipment is a honeycomb even Bravo throttle unit which is plugged in, and I'm using the Thrustmaster Warthog stick because unfortunately there are no sticks for the DA42 that's being created. And it's one thing I think that's sort of missing is custom designed, maybe 3D printed sticks that are from aircraft. I know we have columns and yokes and multi-throttle units, and they do just fine, and I do like my honeycomb. But the times I fly this aircraft, I would love to have a 3D printed, custom made DA42 stick. I think the DA40 shares the same style of stick. It's very minimalist with buttons, but I think it's the same kind of stick. I was looking around at, because the last few videos I did with helicopters, and there are Virpil who released, I think, 3 different versions of various helicopter collectives, and it's nice to see that in the flight sim community, in the fact that there are now various companies releasing custom made or production made sticks and yokes based off our favourite helicopters and favourite aircraft. All of the days of flying the likes of FSX, Flight Sim 9, wishing we had scenery like this. I mean, the scenery is beyond what Flight Simulator used to be. I can remember having FS9 and having a system that ran FS9 brilliantly, and I got FSX and I was so pleased that I had the brand new Flight Simulator, but there was no way that my system was ever going to run it properly, smoothly. So I ended up having to buy a new system to run FSX. And I think the day when I gave up FSX, I mean, we're talking thousands of hours virtually flying a lot of different types of aircraft, and the day when I finally got rid of FSX, it felt like a part of my life was over with, because I was moving on again to this scenery, Flight Simulator 2020. And I know Flight Sim 2024 is out. I have it installed. I haven't used it actually in a long time. My system runs it quite well. The only thing that lets me down on Flight Sim 2024 is the internet, which I was hoping to get sorted out. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen now, thanks to a certain company. But at the moment, I'm not going to say I'm stuck with 2020, because 2020 to me is brilliant. It's smooth where it needs to be smooth. There's great aircraft on it, and for the general aviation person, it's very, very good. And whilst there are companies like Cows, Just Flight, Carinado, Burning Blue Designs, all releasing Flight Sim 2020 content, I don't see a reason to move over permanently to 2024. And yes, obviously 2024 has been, shall we say, a bit of a problem child in the way it's been released and the issues it's had. But I dare say, all seriousness, 2024 will become the sim that 2020 is now. Realistic and reliable. It's just going to take a bit of a long time, and longer than Microsoft and Asobo thought. We're not a million miles away now from our last turn. We're 9.8 nautical miles from our last turn, which will take us directly to the airfield. I'm hoping there is an approach pattern. I haven't looked, but hopefully it'll be stored in the G1000 if there is. And we will be landing on runway 35, I think it was. No, runway 25. It's the longest runway. It's 798 metres, which is shorter than we use to take off from Goodwood. So I think that's 1,200 metres. So I may make a missed approach if I feel that the aircraft's going too fast, or I haven't seen the scenery, so I don't know what to expect. I'm just hoping that the flight simulator has installed it. Because honestly, hand on heart, I have not seen the scenery from Burning Blue Designs. I know what to look for, I know the photos and all that from the website, and I've installed it, like I said, the same way I install all my sceneries, because I use an add-on linker to link aircraft, scenery, helicopters, all that sort of stuff from one drive to another, so they're not actually installed physically on my main C drive. Which I think is a good way of organising your add-ons, because instead of all just putting them into the one file that go into in the flight simulator, now they're organised into files that I understand. So my aircraft are in aircraft, my helicopters are in helicopters, my repaints are in repaints, my sounds are in sounds. And if I want, I can have an aircraft or product installed through the add-on linker, but if I don't want to use it, I can just turn it off, essentially. Not uninstall it, just turn it off, and it will not show in my flight sim. We're 2.5 nautical miles from our, I suspect, last waypoint before hitting the airfield. I've got to stop saying hitting the airfield, that's wrong. But our last approach, which will be Charlie Lima November, and then we'll be heading north towards Old Buckenham. to the last waypoint, and it is 38 nautical miles. We start our descent even at about 20 miles, 36 now. I'll hopefully look for an approach into runway 25 even. And so for all those that want to know, I like to create 2 videos around my work pattern. So this will be the first one. The second video will be featuring a warbird. Like I said, I don't normally feature too many warbirds. I know my last video I did, I was flying the Flying Iron Spitfire Mark 9, LF Mark 9. I will be flying another Spitfire in the Airplane Heaven Mark 1A. I have featured this before in a lot earlier video, a long time ago. And we'll be flying from Imperial War Museum Duxford again, because this will be a Spitfire that's based there. So it'll be interesting to see the difference between the 2 Spitfires. .29 nautical miles away. Looks like we have a 10 knot left to right crosswind at the moment. Well within the restrictions of this aircraft. I'm not entirely sure which way the runway goes. It might be that we've got a headwind. just over 20 miles. So we'll start our descent. I want to go down to about 4,000. So 500-foot decrease. Start throttling back. So let's look for a approach procedure. Visual 25. Oh god, that's two visuals. 225s. So we want 25. 25 right is a grass runway. So visual 25. Aircraft's going, I presume, the right way, but unfortunately I don't want to go that way. So we are going to join with the magenta line, which will bring us on to an approach into runway 25. Just for reference, where it was wanting to send me, which was runway 25 right, that is a 407 metre grass runway, and that would be probably too short for a aircraft like this to get into. That's the one I wanted, not to the straight, not of best of wrong settings. It's been a while since I've flown this aircraft, especially navigating like this. So we cross that. Now the aircraft should be flying a straight in approach and into the finals. Like I said, it's the first time seeing the scenery, so we might make a missed approach. Fuel pumps now coming on. The lights are on. Got good fuel, I believe. Should have. Yeah, plenty of fuel in the mains. I made sure to put in extra fuel. a little over 11 miles to our final waypoint and turn in. Final checks. Landing lights are on, fuel pumps are on, flaps are still up, pitot heat is still on, tanks are set to on, not crossfeed. So somewhere out there is a new piece of scenery. Looking for literally any straight piece of tarmac. Should be to our 10 o'clock. Still, it'll be out there. Have faith the scenery has been installed, because that'll be really annoying if it hasn't. Oops, truck AR having a moment. Could be this. I say could be. And I'm beginning to think it is. So let's have a look. Let the aircraft complete the turn. Let's see what we've got. So, autopilot. It's now off. I have control. So So it looks like we have a disused runway at the start of it, with items in front. They're going to be interesting on approach. It looks like buildings. Stroke containers. There's our runway. Hay bales. It looks like they're quite far up the disused part of the runway, so we should be alright. Looks like we don't have any hills to worry about. Didn't see any wind turbines. So obstacle wise we should be good. So the flaps coming down to one stage to approach. So we are going to extend a little bit further than I would normally do this. I've not flown into this place, obviously. So we do have some obstacles to worry about on the approach, in the fact of the hay bales. We manage our speed, and our angle's right, we should be fine. So gear selected down. Gear down, 3 green. Okay, runway's in sight. Flaps down to landing. So landing lights are on, landing flaps selected, 3 green down for undercarriage. We look like we're good. Over the buildings, over the hay bales, and into runway 25. Knot headwind. little bit harder than I wanted. Very hard to judge on the first time. But we are down, and it looks like the runway's plenty long enough for our purposes. Right, so having never been here before, that looks like a taxiway. That looks like it goes to the cars. Right, so flaps are coming up, fuel pumps are coming off, veto heat is coming off, landing lights are off, taxi lights are on, strobe lights are off. Tanks are selected correctly. Right, let's go. So welcome to Burning Blue Designs Old Buckenham. Park ourselves up to the quote-unquote tower. Vehicles are set. So the flaps are up and confirmed. And that's shut down. So tax lights are off, position lights are off. It's off. Fuel tanks are selected off. So, there we go. Welcome to Old Buckenham. First time having a look around this airfield. Yeah, it looks absolutely as what I expected for Burning Blue Designs. Very, very good. We will be creating some more. I'll stop track in a minute for you who's getting dizzy. We will be creating some content around Old Buckenham, so we will be doing a tour of Old Buckenham. We'll be using the buggy for that. I think it's one of the better ways to have a look at the different layers that go into scenery creation, because if I just use an aircraft or a helicopter, I would be on the live side of the airfield, and we want to see some more stuff that goes on behind where the aircraft are parked and the aircraft fly from. So stay tuned for a video like that. That'll be coming out, well, it'll be coming out soon, probably maybe next week. But yes, I'm actually really flabbergasted. It actually installed and went in just fine. Microsoft do like to throw curveballs every now and again. So, yes, here we go. Here we are, Old Buckenham. If you want to purchase this, it's available right now from Burning Blue Designs' main website. I do believe it is available on Marketplace. I want to say it's available on Marketplace, but it might not be, so don't quote me on that. But it is £10.95, which I think is a bargain price. Burning Blue Designs' price plans are absolutely fantastic for the work that goes in, because I think there's a lot of work goes in, and it's not a lot of price. And if you do fly general aviation in the UK, there's a lot of scenery out there from Burning Blue Designs, and they're all fantastic. I haven't found a bad one yet. You do have, with one purchase, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024. So you download it, you pay for it, and you then will get access to both of them. They are updated regularly if there's any issues. I know that this version, 2020, is still version 1, because there is no issues. 2024 is automatically 1.5, I do believe, or 1.2. It's been updated. There was a slight little bit of a hiccup. 2024, there's quite a few hiccups on that simulator. But yes, so far it is running quite happily on 2024. There has been, if you want any contact or any information about it, check out the Discord page on but for Burning Blue Designs, because we get all the latest information about any kind of updates, what kind of work they're on, any suggestions you want to make for future projects. They will listen to them. Obviously, there's not always a case that they can do every project that you list, but there may be a project there that they may look at and go, you know, something that's not a bad idea. So I hope you've enjoyed this live video. I will be going back to doing some pre-recorded videos and bringing back the Diamond Twin Star. Yes, for a future video. So if you've got any questions or comments about the Cows DA42, bang them below. If you've got any questions or comments about old Buckenham or Burning Blue Designs, please bang them below, and I'll get around to answering them as soon as I can. So I will see you, girls and guys, in a future Microsoft Flight Simulator video very, very soon.